Hey everyone, thanks for coming out today. Thanks for tuning in to this week's interview of Gratitude Tuesday. I am so happy to have Jed Collins with me, the author, creator, brains behind Money Vehicle. So Jed, if you want to give us your spiel, tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll hop right into things.
Absolutely. Well, first off, I am extremely excited to be here talking to you, Kenya, and obviously the sports biz community. This is a partnership I could not be more passionate about and excited to begin. Money Vehicle for me began out of fear. I got to chase the dream of becoming a professional athlete, playing in the NFL for 7 seasons. And what I realized was this dream that we kind of all visioned and were chasing, it wasn't exactly what we had all planned. And so as my first paychecks kind of came and went, I began to look at the opportunity before me differently. I was an undrafted guy, I was a no-name player. And I realized if I was going to capture this dream that I'd had, from when I was a kid, I was going to have to do things differently. That $40 million contract was never going to come to the no-name fullback. And so I began to seek out knowledge and education around money and around personal finances. And as I did, I realized it didn't matter what school you went to. My brothers were at Berkeley getting a master's in engineering and at Harvard Law School, and yet nobody was teaching them about money. So it wasn't totally my fault as the big dumb jock, but as I realized that, I began to really think about my locker room, my brothers, my friends in that space. And I asked myself, if the business degree, the accounting major, growing up in Orange County, if I don't have any idea about money, I know exactly what our problem is here. And I sought out to kind of change that for myself and really began to share some of the things I was learning to the guys in the locker room. And that led to one thing to another, and Money Vehicle kind of started to formalize.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's crazy you bring that up, because throughout my journey here at Carolina, it's almost like you see the same things, and that's programs and ideas, things that you're doing right now are really like reshaping the way that we move. Because I went through almost, I'm 21 years old and I'm still not where I want to be, like financial literacy wise. And I've taken boring financial literacy courses that I will hear one day and it's out my ear the next. So to hear, everything that you're doing and the passion that you kind of come from and how you want to change things up, it's really great to see.
Well, that's what's been the most encouraging piece to us is the feedback around our entertainment value and knowing who we're competing with, which is a textbook or a long hour lecture. All of our content is in 5 to 7 minute videos, and we use the green screen. We take you to different areas, different venues. We try to create characters in stories. My students, because I'm an adjunct professor as well, their feedback daily in class, the testimonials I get from people who go through the virtual course, every one of them says, oh, I can't tell you how much I use this story to explain things. Or I can't tell you when I was out doing something and that story, that character popped in my head. That was really a breakthrough for us to say, I can lecture at you and tell you all of this information, but as you mentioned, it's in one ear and out the other. So we had to approach it from a different angle, from an entertaining and a storytelling atmosphere. And then really what our biggest action items are is what you need to go do. And that is the separation. So Money Vehicle is not educational, it is empowering. And empowering means you have the confidence to go and do things. And so if you go through the course and if you really truly go through it, you're going to take the first 10 steps in your financial journey because each chapter has one specific action. And I think that is what we've missed in the past, is that clarity of, that's great, cool, I got it. It was really good for what you said. What do I do? What am I supposed to go do with it? And we really wanted to emphasize that action sequence.
For sure, for sure. Dad, I love what you said, how it's not educational, it's empowering. And I think that's what makes, a us work, especially together here in this, I feel like, especially with my time at sports biz, like, yeah, of course, you want to teach people things,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to inspire them to act on what they've learned. And, you want them to create change, to continue to create change. And, you do that by taking what you've learned and applying it to your life, and fixing the things in your life. So that way it kind of creates the next person kind of having those same actions. Uh, and I think that's something that hopefully, especially as, our audience are high school and college students, something that is so crucial at that point in time. I mean, I really can't stress enough, especially like, just taking from that time, 18 to 21 years. I mean, it's a crazy time, especially to start to be on your own, to try to make financial decisions on your own. So to have, I think, this partnership together, it not only, it's bigger than us, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's really creating like generational change too, because a lot of these problems don't never started with us. It's things that, it's cyclical. So
It's and it's really that conversation.
mhm,
Um, and most 90% of households never address the topic of money. And one of the missions that we're out to do is to not only start the conversation, but to also change the conversation around what money is. That's why the title is Money Vehicle, because we want you to immediately see it as a verb, as something that you can move, control, and use and do. Far too often we see money as the noun, the objective. I want to just get $1 million. Well, no, the $1 million is a tool to help you lead a lifestyle. And we really want to change that. And that's the beginning of the conversational change that we're looking for, because you're absolutely right. This is a generational issue. There is a reason we all start out in different places. And with modern technology, this is going to be one of the first times we can look around and say, we can't make you do any of this, but we can start to prepare you better than I was, better than you were, better than most have in the past. Now we finally have resources, we have tools that are going to provide. That does not level the playing field, but what the hope is here is to change the future, change the next generation, and to start to level that. And that is, something that I began to realize firsthand playing football. Was we come from 100 different backgrounds. We come from 100 different, very unique situations. And this is a topic that every single one of us are going to use on a daily basis.
mhm,
We need to begin by understanding it more. And you're absolutely right. This is one of the most exciting pieces of what my passion is if we can change the conversation with you and with the community that you are in at 18 or 22, now we are going to see a generational change.
mhm. For sure, for sure. When you were talking about, kind of moving forward, like it being a vehicle, kind of reminded me of the whole, social mobility thing, because also,
Yes.
it goes hand in hand. Like finances can be a setback, and how you maybe want to move up in life, and how you want to take yourself from one place to another. So, you know, could just elaborate a little bit more, if you could, for me, on what that means. Like, what does, our mission kind of do? What is it? How does that kind of couple, with like Money Vehicle? I know you've, worked with sports biz in the past. I want to say it was Return to Play,
Mhm.
where you kind of gave us a little taste of some things, to kind of be moving forward, kind of offering some more assistance and creating more of a partnership with us. Like, what does that mean to you?
When I got to connect with the sports biz team, I saw people chasing a passion, and that is something that everybody is drawn towards. This being, I don't want to call it the side hustle, but this definitely being the thing that every one of them woke up and said, I'm going to go do my job. And then I want to go and impact. And then I want to go make a change. And where we began to really talk about was the opportunities that were in the sporting world. Everybody looks at professional sports and sees the athlete and says, oh, well, that's the only avenue. I actually just talked to a former teammate yesterday who's becoming a coach, talked to one about 2 weeks ago who's becoming a scout. And it really opens your eyes to the many avenues and aspects from, as we talked about, selling the ticket to the customer, all the way to, what is up on the screen during timeouts and halftime. Like, there are endless responsibilities in building this community. And back when we get to live performances, you have a city at your, at your fingertips, in gatherings. So as I looked at the opportunities and the demographic and the people that sports business is out to really show and help and guide and support, that is where I started to say, well, do you address this topic? Do you look at not just how am I going to make the money, but how am I going to make the money work for me? And that's where our collaboration really began. Is, well, we want to give them an insight into a world they probably would have never really seen the details of. And I just get to come in and say, well, the success in that aspect, the success in this world, is going to be married with this topic, and it's going to be needed to address this issue as well. And with a resounding yes, this seems like a great fit. We really just looked at it and said, this is two sides of the coin that we need to address.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And for those who don't know, this partnership, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, it'll be 200 free, at least 200 free money vehicle courses. So this is exclusive content, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's in high demand, and like as you said, it's rising. So people should definitely jump onto this.
And my hope is we surpass that 200 and I get to issue out more. Our objective as sports business is people, not profit. Mm-hmm. And the course right now is about $300 retail. So this is not some little thing that you limp into and are going to watch a video and change your life. If you're looking for the Robinhood Reddit, I'm going to become a millionaire next week. I apologize. This is not it. But it is going to be an introduction into 10 different facets of money. It's not going to land at you becoming an advisor or being a certified financial planner, which I am, but it is going to land you in a place that says insurance, taxes, investing, Roth accounts, cash management, all of those, I know what to go do now. All of those, I've taken my first step. I've made sure I understood the base levels and the base knowledge. And that is what I am most excited about, is because the students in sports biz, yourself included, these are the leaders. These are the proactive thinkers of this demographic. And I know if we're going to start to make true communal change, that's who we're going to have to start with. And so that's why I said 200, bring them on. You get 2,000, let's go.
Right. And I think that's important, like you said, like this isn't like a cheap, this is investment, right? You yes. have to invest to better yourself. And if people don't take advantage of this, I mean, like you said, this isn't, this isn't some backyard course. Like you're going all in, and it really takes a commitment. So hopefully people will see the value in that. Hopefully, people will want to better themselves, to better equip themselves to be more financially literate. And you said, you mentioned earlier that you're an adjunct professor, so you do many things. This isn't, the only thing that you do. This isn't the only thing that you're active with in your professional life. So how would you say that, and of course, being, a retired NFL player, how would you say that, this contributes to your overall mission in life? So, setting aside like all the other accomplishments that you've had, all the other impact that you've made, how does this contribute to your end goal?
And it is a really neat phase where I got to leave the game of football, and obviously the NFL, because I captured it, it gave me the opportunity to breathe, and it gave me the opportunity to ask myself, what do I truly want? Mm-hmm. And I know we all want financial freedom. And so I am that way. Again, it's not like I'm kicking my heels up and have millions of dollars, but it did give me enough to be able to ask myself this entrepreneurial question of, do I fear going and trying to chase a passion and failing? Or do I fear waking up in 10 years on the wealth management path, becoming a partner, having a big book of business, and never having tried? Do I fear regretting that? And that is where my passion really took hold and took the forefront of what I'm doing. I talk to friends all the time, whether it's working at Amazon, a fireman, or everywhere in between. And they all tell me, they're like, Jed, you've gotten up at 5 a.m. every day of Corona? I say, yeah. Why? I say, because do I love it all? No. Do I love selling? No. But I'm chasing something, and I get emails, I get videos of the students who have gone through and the change and the impact that it has made on them. And so our money vehicle measurement, our mission statement is to empower people to use money. And we say USE, understand their money, strategize their money, and be efficient with their money. But our North Star is chapter 10, which revolves around Roth accounts. And if we can get all of our students, because they are young professionals, whether you're 15, and believe me, I've met some 14-year-old day traders who are making a ton of money. Mm-hmm. Also 14-year-olds who are creating content and a social media brand and all that stuff. So I don't care about age. You can be 14, 24, or 54. But if you open a Roth account at a young age, it is going to be a strategy, but it's going to be built on the idea that you understand why. And it is going to be efficient in your plan. And so if we look at what Money Vehicle's mission is, number one, right now with this course, is to open 1 million Roth accounts. Can those be Roth IRAs? Can they be Roth 401ks? Absolutely. But if we look up in 5, 10 years, however long it takes, and have opened 1 million Roth accounts for young professionals between 15 and 25, I will have known that this vision, this passion, this dream I was chasing is coming to fruition. And so how do I balance? How do I juggle? How do I handle it all? It's in our sequence. One of our chapters is around the money buckets, and it's a cash management, but it's around the compassion choice. And that science is telling us our brains are going to be the most fulfilled, satisfied, and happy with things that we give to others, with things that go outside of ourselves. And so that has been my driving factor, is no longer, can I create a mega $1 million business, but can we get 1 million people? Can we put people over that profit, and knowing that in the end, that is going to be the best measurable we can have.
I love that. I love that so much. Definitely a lot of inspiring things that you said there. And to have that goal, I mean, at the trajectory that it's going now, I am 100% sure that you'll hit that goal. So it'll definitely be interesting to see, not only like how you reach the people, but how it'll change their lives. Cause
mm-hmm.
This whole thing that we're doing, and I can't stress on this enough. It's so much bigger than us, because, little things like this can open someone's mind. It can open for them to want to do other things, like the other passions they have, right? Like, just having the clarity to understand money and to go forward, that they can chase their dreams. If this is a barrier, this is one of many barriers that people unfortunately run into. So to see the solution, one of the solutions right in front of you to take advantage of, it's great. It's great. So how would you say, you've met a lot of people, of course, like over the years, as you've kind of progressed into helping, high school and college students. I'm sure there are plenty of high school and college students that, maybe friends, like they have families, they have kids. How would you connect to them to get them to take advantage of opportunities such as this? How would you convince them to buy into, this sort of education, or I'm sorry, it's empowerment, not education? How would you get them to buy into that? Like, how would you market that to them in a sense?
What's really neat about the moment right now, Kenya, is the interest is there. You look at the headlines, the topics coming through, that younger Gen Z millennials are very curious about money. And so I don't have to convince too much. I have to get people to understand that there is a resource now, that there is a full curriculum that a high school, that a college can walk through step by step. And because that has never been there before, it is more an acknowledgement of this tool being out there. Regardless of how good your product is, if you don't market and you don't sell it, you're not going to be able to take it where you want it to go. So where I begin is, whether I get to work with the NFL a lot with the teams and the players. And my question and challenge to them is, do you want to capture the dream before you? Well, the idea of a 22-year-old starting their career is no different. You're about to get your first paychecks. Wouldn't you rather have not only asked, but answered some of those questions before they start rolling in? I love the idea that we share, again, changing the conversation around employing your money. What does that mean? That means I get a paycheck, and when I get my paycheck, I know, based on the percentages we use in the course, exactly what is going where. Every dollar I get has a job. And as I became an entrepreneur and ran my own business, I had to do the exact same thing. And so as I encourage people and try to empower them, it is with the notion of, have you ever got to the end of the month and felt like finances, money just didn't work? Well, you got to stop trying that. Start preparing, start planning. I look at it no different than going into a football game. We met and practiced all week. We had a plan a week before. We had a strategy. Money is no different. And that's one of the beauties is I get to connect some of this mindset that I had as a professional athlete, and you'll see it in the course. We talk about habits. We talk about goal setting. We talk about these ways, stealing inches, that an athlete becomes elite. And with those same mental habits, with those same behaviors, you can translate them to finances. So today it's very much a what do you know about money? What do you want to do with money? But more importantly, where is your goal? If we're going to truly change your lifestyle and truly make finances go to work for you, you have to begin by setting your own, we call them rich goals, RICH goals. And once we have that kind of that yardstick in place that we're aiming towards, it's not financial freedom. It's a 1-year goal at max, maybe a 1 month, maybe a 1 week goal. But as you start to have those, your choices, your opportunities become a prioritization and not a sacrifice. So many people are like, well, I don't get to go do this because I'm saving money. No. You're going to get to go do that because of what you're doing today. Yes, you're not doing this over here, but that's because you have said that that is more important. So you got to figure out what that is today. And that's usually where I start talking to students and saying, what is that for you? Don't say it's $1 million. Don't say it's freedom or retirement. What is that? Every answer to that has been unique.
For sure. I really hope people are listening on this because you're giving gems, you're dropping these little teasers, it seems, from this content. So this is golden material. I was gonna ask for a little teaser, but I feel like I'm getting some of the education already. I didn't even have to ask. So hopefully others are kind of listening in and saying, wow, like you might want to take some notes, because throughout the time that we've chatted, you've definitely expanded my mind more. I don't have a pen in front of me, but I have it in my head, and that's for sure. And I'll definitely be following up.
Always have a pen in front of you.
I know. I have a Sharpie, but I can't.
Yeah, I'm with you.
A thin piece of paper. But for sure. I mean, the content, like I said, it's so needed. And to be able to have this partnership, to be able to move forward, to be able to impact other people like myself. Hopefully, I know for a fact I will be taking advantage of this. And, like I said, others doing the same thing.
And I want to end on, because we want to look at it through Kenya's eyes, through the student who's going through this and the validation of going through the course. So this is one of the first financial literacy certification courses out there. So as you complete it, there is an exam at the end that you take, and upon passing and opening a Roth account, you'll see that come back, you get a certification that you get to put on LinkedIn. You get to put on a job application. If you're in high school, you get to put on a college application. And we have heard from plenty of students that have said, do you know what they asked me about on my resume? What is this? Because it is a topic in corporate America, in HR communities. Financial wellness and financial stress is one of the leading concerns of the moment. This will show a proactive nature, and it will also show a little bit less of a concern that you're not going to know how to handle this piece of your life. Do not get me wrong. This is not the end of the journey. You're not going to complete this, kick it up, and say, hey, I'll see you in 30 years. But this is going to put you in the right direction, and it is going to give you that certification to say, took the time. I invested in myself. 10 minutes a day. That's all we're asking for. 10 minutes a day. I can invest in my financial future.
I love it. I love it so much. It's so inspiring. It's a great way to kind of wrap up our chat today. Jed, it's been a pleasure for me to sit here and to learn from you just in our short time together, but to also hopefully give our audience a better understanding of who you are, what you do, the impact that you're trying to make, and how we can do it together. Money Vehicle, Sports Biz Cares. If there's any last words you'd like to say, reaching out to any of your connects, any of your supporters, definitely, if you have those last words, we'd love to hear.
Well, I love connecting with you and with the community. If you want to check me out on LinkedIn or on social media, I'm the fullback of finance. So I'm trying to connect my NFL with the CFP world. Fullback of finance. Check me out on TikTok because we're putting out a ton of content there. The last thing I will say, and the question I love to challenge people with at the end is, if you're not concerned with future you, who is? The government, your company, nobody else is going to take on that responsibility. It feels too grown up. It feels too far off. But what you can do today, ask anyone, what is the one thing they wish they did with money? And their answer is going to be start earlier. And so you have the opportunity today to join this course, take all that you are learning through the Sports Biz community and the tons of content information there, add this to your arsenal, and truly continue to look at, if I'm not worried about future me, nobody else is. And that is going to be something that takes you through this journey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I couldn't have wrapped this up any better myself. I should have just dropped the mic there. I should have just stopped it there. But once again, Jed, it's been such a pleasure to speak with you today. I hope everyone who's tuned in has enjoyed it just as much as I have. Be on the lookout. Look him up on Instagram. He's got a great Instagram. I checked it out myself. Check out TikTok and get on board with what we're doing here, because it's truly some great content. Jed, once again, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Have a great one.
Enjoy.